think of really innovative ways to do that, it really boils down to storytelling. And the best storytellers do that in a really compelling way to make you want to be a part of what it is they're doing as opposed to pushing to you and selling, right? So I don't ever believe in the hard sell. I believe that a great marketer, a great brand builder creates something so remarkable that you don't want to miss it, right? And so you create this attraction as opposed to kind of begging for their attention. And so our panel, I'm sure, will touch on some of these topics, right, ladies? Yes, yes, yes? Okay, so session 4, 50 Shades of Green. This is in our branding, design, sales, and marketing track. And so I'm going to bring up Jay Nash, please. Come on up, Jay. So Jay, for all of you, I'm sure you already know her because she is Atlanta's V100 on-air personality. V103, excuse me. That was the New Yorker in me. We have Z100. I apologize. So V103. I don't have the radio voice, though. And then I'm going to bring up Melissa Mitchell, founder of Abel Creations. Come on up, Melissa. Yes, Melissa. Yeah. Yes, Melissa. Bring it all. Yes. Okay. I'm underdressed. Pinky Cole, owner of Slutty Vegan. Okay, so now I have to stop. Pinky, what does Slutty Vegan make that has these ladies screaming?
Is it working? Testing. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Take mine for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So there's something called slutification, right? And you got to get slutified first so you can understand what everybody is talking about. But it's a 100% plant-based burger joint in Atlanta, and it is more than just a restaurant. It's a whole experience, and we're shifting the culture, and that's why you see people happy, because we create an experience so good that people just love us, and it's beyond burgers and fries.
Okay. Okay, so how far is Slutty Vegan from here?
It ain't far at all.
Okay.
We open at 4
All right.
o'clock.
Are you open at 4 or you close at 4?
No, we open at 4, but you got to start lining up at 1 o'clock. Yes.
Well, can I cut the line?
Yeah.
Can I cut the line? Okay.
I can make something
Okay,
work.
I'm going to have to negotiate cutting the line at Slutty Vegan.
Uh-oh.
Is it on Uber Eats? Okay. We'll negotiate that when you're done. Martine Resnick, co-founder of The Lola. Martine, come on up. And then I have Jody Smith. Come on up, Jody. Jody is an independent producer. And anyone who's working in marketing and media knows that nothing happens without a good producer. So, ladies, we're excited to hear from you.
All right. How are you all doing today? Good. My name is Jay Nash. I'm with V103. Anybody know about the People Station, V103? There we go. That's how we have a warm welcome. I am so excited to host a phenomenal panel of incredible women who are really dominating the brand and marketing industry. And so, again, I'm just going to have them tell a little bit about themselves. I know our wonderful hostess introduced them, but let's just get a little personal. Is it all right if we can get a little personal, have some female conversations? Okay, great. Go ahead, Melissa. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Melissa Mitchell. I am the Chief Artistic Director of ABL Creations, and I like to tell the story that in 2015 I found art by mistake. I was home bored during the snowstorm, the apocalypse that happened in Atlanta. The entire city froze over, and I was actually frozen in my house, and so I had some old wood in the garage, some old paint from some sorority gifts, and I was like, let me just find something to do. The lights are going out. I can't leave to go get nothing to eat, so let me find something to do. Long story short, I started doodling on a sheet of paper, had some wood, started doing some things with that. I put it on Instagram, hey y'all, I'm an artist, and I put it air quotes, LOL. So someone's like, I'll buy that. I was like, for $50? So I put a price point on it. I did that 10 times. I paid my car note and some bills, and then I just started doing that every week, and I was able to pay my mom's mortgage with my first accumulation of funds. And so I noticed that people wanted to be a part of what I was doing. And so did that, took a leap of faith and started wearing my art. Ended up in Vogue with Lupita and some other great things. And so I became an artist overnight and now an actual artistic phenomenon.
Look at you. You guys give it up for Melissa Mitchell. All right, Pinky Cole, tell us a little, we already know. I mean, how many people have already been slutified?
How many sluts in here? Hey, sluts. My name is Pinky Cole. I am the product of a single family household. I grew up in a house with a Jamaican mom. My dad did 20 years in prison. So I had to teach myself how to hustle. Anybody ever had to teach yourself how to hustle?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm in high school. I'm 14 years old, making $4,000 a week, having high school parties. I'm in the 12th grade selling McChickens for $2 and making money. I'm in college. I became Miss Clark Atlanta University, and I paid my way through college. Hey, y'all. I paid my way through college through doing hair. So I've always had a hustle mentality. After I graduated from college, I joined the television industry. So I've been in that industry for almost 12 years, and most recently, I was one of the casting directors for Iyanla Fix My Life. And I had a restaurant before, and when I got back to Atlanta, I'm like, you know what, I'm ready to do this. I had a restaurant in Harlem, it burned down, and then once I got in TV and came back to Atlanta, I'm like, you know what, the universe has been preparing me for something great. And whatever that thing is, I don't know, but I know that I'm ready, because when you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready, right? So the only problem is that I wasn't thinking big enough, because if you would have told me 9 months ago that I would have had one of the biggest brands in America, I would have laughed at you. So today, here I am. I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I'm the janitor, the therapist, all of the above for Slutty Vegan, and I wouldn't change a thing, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful, and I appreciate all of the support and everybody that supports me. And Slutty Vegan is just making vegans one step at a time, one burger at a time.
Yeah. And it's really good, too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Martine, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Martine Resnick. As you can tell from the funny accent, I grew up in the UK. I've been in the US about 11 years, mostly in Atlanta. I spent the last 20 years in corporate. I grew up in a family full of entrepreneurs, immigrant entrepreneurs. My family had an ice cream business, a car rental business, a building business. And my dad said to me 2 things: never start your own business and never start it with someone else. And I'm doing both of those things. I told him I listened for 20 years, and then I was like, all right, time out. But, you know, and I've worked for Cartoon Network, Estee Lauder, TNT and TBS here in Atlanta, and I've always had really fun creative jobs, but then I had 2 kids back to back, and it shook my world, and I was like, this shit is broken, and I'm getting out of here. So I did, and I quit with no job to go to. And we're now starting the Lola here in Atlanta, which is a members club and community where we're creating space to elevate women. We say we're building the old boys club for women, but better.
Nice. Martine. All right. Well, thank you for that. Jody.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am the mean person that you guys have been seeing all day, so thank you for putting up with me. I have a kind of crazy background. I started on Wall Street marketing IPOs and stock offerings. Yeah, and then, you know, I went back to school and I ended up going into consulting because I hate doing spreadsheets. And I said, but I do love going into companies and figuring out either what's working or what's not and how to fix it. And so I've done that for years on the business strategy side and the technology side. And I had a coworker one day who, she said, I have this kids show, and whenever I get my funding, I'm gonna call you to come work for me. And I said, okay, you know, all right, girl, you know, I can't, oh, you go. And I was running the PBS e-commerce business, and she called me. And she said, I got somebody to fund me, come work for me. And I had never produced TV before, and I was like, yeah, right, I'll be there, I can do that. And started a whole new career going down the television route. And so now, you know, I'm working with Operation Hope, designing and implementing their digital entrepreneur training program. So that's been really exciting to me because it brings in all the elements of everything I love. So that's kind of me. I'm kind of all over the place.
All right. Please give it up for our panelists this afternoon. Do we have any aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience? So okay, there we go. So we're going to talk about branding, and what I would like to know from you, Pinky, how important is it to build a brand?
Building a brand is very important. That's probably the most important thing. And again, y'all, this is unconventional wisdom right here, right? So I didn't learn this in a book. This is what worked for me. People have fell in love with the story. And just like the woman said here, like when people love your story, they're gonna buy into whatever you're selling, right? So I'm not selling food, I'm selling an experience, right? So people, it's like know, love, and trust. They know you, they love you, and they trust you. So if they know you, that means that they trust the things that you say. And if they trust you, they're going to support it. So my story, like I said before, I had a business before, it burned down, and then I came back. So this is my triumph story. So here I am. I went from having it to not having it to getting it back again plus then some. So people love that story. And because of that story, I built the brand around that. And once I built the brand around that story, selling the products is just like, that's just the icing on the top. You know what I mean? Like that's the cherry on top. So that brand is so important because had I just started Slutty Vegan without the story, I don't think that I would have lines around the corner. You know what I mean? I don't think that people would come, and people have really like genuinely fell in love with like the transparency of the business and the transparency of what we put together, and that's what makes the brand grow every single day.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. Martine, what about you? You said you came from a background of entrepreneurs. Tell us how important is branding yourself individually and your business?
Yes, I think, I mean, I definitely second the storytelling. I think there has to be a good story behind it, and also just being really crystal clear on like who you are, who your brand is, who your audience is, and kind of what you bring for them and how you make their lives different and better. And I think making sure, and we have been building the Lola for a good 18 months, and we still are finding and tuning our story all the time because we want to make sure that we're being really clear about who we are and who we are not. Yeah, I would say the biggest surprise for me coming out of corporate and the story I really was not prepared to tell was to really like expose myself and tell my own story, and that I feel like was a real challenge. And yeah, I think in companies you can hide behind your brand, you can hide behind your name and your title, although I'm realizing this now. But when I came out, people wanted to know who I was and what my story was and how I came to this, and coming to things like this doesn't come naturally. And so I've had to really like kind of take a beat and put myself out there, because I think you are your brand and you are your story. And even if you're not the face of it or you're not face forward, you still have to be out there selling and telling the story of your brand, and you're connected to it in a way that you just cannot separate yourself. So I think being prepared to do that and really getting clear on why you're doing it and what that story looks like and get comfortable telling it in practice is really important.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So especially the three of us, we're used to working in the background, so our reputations, our brand precedes us. People call us to say, I have a project, I know your work, or somebody else has vouched for your work. You need to come, right, get this project done for me. What's interesting is that you've made that switch, that now, right, you're not behind the scenes anymore. You're out there, the brand is out in front of your product. So that is really interesting, but it's hard. How did you make that switch from being behind the scenes, I don't have to sell myself, people call me, they already know who I am, to wait a minute, I have to put myself out there, right, and put myself out there
Great
before
question.
even my product.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. But even, working in TV, like my name has always spoken for me, no matter what, right? So behind the scenes, my name is going to speak for me. And in front of the scenes, my name is also going to speak for me. So that is the one thing that has remained consistent. But every single day, it's just like, oh, people know me. I can't walk out the house with a T-shirt and some jeans no more. You know what I mean? But it's definitely a blessing because you learn. So now I get the opportunity to be in front of the scenes, especially when I did it behind.
And you like it?
I love it.
Jody is my co-host,
Yeah, I'm
co-moderator.
sorry, I'm
y'all. I love you, Jody.
I'm sorry.
Make my job easy. Melissa, you talked about how Instagram, when you just decided, hey, I'm going to put myself out there in terms of marketing. Did you have a marketing plan? Or if you didn't have a marketing plan, when you put yourself out there, did you have to take a step back and say, hey, I need a marketing plan because I see that people are really interested in my products?
So my story is interesting, of course. I got popular by mistake. I did not mean for this to happen. And so my sister's like, I think we're going to sell out again. We kept showing up to events, and we were running out of materials. And so I had to take about a month or two off to figure out who I can get to manufacture these things faster. If I'm going to market myself, I need to be consistent with that voice. Because a lot of times, because I was talking about the guy I was dating, he was like, you can't wear that. You need to wear all your art. I was like, I want to wear something normal. He's like, nope, you can't be normal. And so once you turn on, I can't do it no more, right? So once you turn that faucet on, you have to consistently show up with who you present. And so for me, every day I have something new. They're like, you got so much content. I said, because I'm always creating. And so as an artist, whether I sell a painting today or tomorrow, I'm still going home today. My friend said, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm going home to paint. He said, well, you have, Spanx is coming out in 2 weeks. I said, I'm still painting. Because when I get a call to show up for an event, I'm always ready. And so when we get these different events like this, we're always prepared to tell our story because we've been consistently telling it every single day. And so for me, a marketing plan for me was to be consistent and then to understand my demographic wants to know my story, not just my product. So I didn't even bring product today. I'm here to sell you hope and to sell you optimism, not a product. So that was my goal for today.
All right now, Melissa. Jody, you were talking about the transition for you. How, in that part of even being in the scene of, I'm sure you know by doing film, budgeting and how important budgeting is. How important is it for budgeting for entrepreneurs and budgeting for brand and marketing?
So what's interesting now is so much of the marketing feels free. You can go on Instagram, right, set up a page, Facebook, all of that, and you feel like I've got my marketing covered. And it's not. It's something you have to outline. What is my plan? How much am I going to spend in each area? Most importantly, how much am I going to spend producing my marketing materials? Everything is a branding opportunity. Everything is marketing opportunity. So that money that you skimp on doing your logo is going to come back to bite you in the butt. This is not the place to skimp. The cards that you're like, well, they're kind of crooked, but it's okay, I'll just use them. No. Everything is a branding opportunity, especially as you're starting your business. Every interaction you have with somebody tells them about your company. You know that old saying, how you do anything is how you do everything? Yes. This is never going to be more relevant than right now where you ladies are about to start your business. She will tell you the hair color is not an accident, right? It's a signature, and it always looks perfect. I can speak for you. It always looks perfect, right? And the color is always on, but no matter what color it is, it's always going to be on point. We've never met. And I know a lot about her just from the way she presents herself. And you guys vouch for that by going to her business and lining up, because if her business wasn't together, if it was dirty, everybody would be like, ooh, okay, right? So,
Let me call them right now, make sure they cleaned up. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, so just to say that even though you think you have it covered with Facebook and the free stuff, even the pictures you take, everything is gonna start to cost you money. Because even the professional Photoshop apps, you're gonna all of that costs money. So always put money in your budget for it, and hire the best people you can pay for everything you do. A hookup is nice until it's not.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jody, for that. Martine, budgeting, when we were just, talking about budgeting, you said, hey, we just started the Lola membership-based workspace for women. How important is budgeting for you when women are coming through the door and they're just trying to figure out, where do I start? I have no budget whatsoever. What do you tell those women?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I agree. Like, you definitely need to put money aside for marketing, but then there's reality of starting a business. I mean, I've managed budgets up to $30 million a year, and just blown my mind with like, oh my God, I cannot believe how much we're spending on this stuff, to, oh my God, I have no money to spend on anything and do any of this. How are we going to do it? And that's where we are right now. We're about to open the Lola in little over a month's time, July, ladies, opposite Pond City Market at the Southern Dairies. We have a 5,000 square foot space, and that takes capital. So we've been raising money to build the space. And honestly, I mean, if anyone has raised money, I know there was a conversation on raising money prior to this one. It's really hard, and we've been raising and spending and raising and spending. And some nights I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to do this, and how are we going to pay the bills? But we still have to promote ourselves and market ourselves and get members in the door, because that's also revenue for us. And I would say I wish I had more. I mean, I've been spoiled in my past career in some ways. I wish I had more. We don't have any, so we are doing it really organically. But I will say, when you don't have anything, you get super creative. And we are building a community, which is kind of awesome, because then we have all these really creative, smart women at our fingertips. And so we've been able to trade a little bit. You know, hey, if you can do this, we can trade some membership, or we can, you know, different things. And so really the power of our community has come together to help us kind of create our website and do some of our social media and do some of the interior stuff. And I couldn't be more grateful for the women here in Atlanta. Atlanta's blown my mind coming out of corporate with the amazing, talented people here. And I would just say, look in your circle and find ways and get creative. And you don't need to ask people to give you stuff for free. They might, but find ways to trade and find something that you can give them a value and get it done.
Good. Thank you so much for your answer. We're going to just take this on down the road here on this question. You just linked up a partnership with Spanx. Congratulations. Congratulations to Melissa Mitchell with ABL. I'm curious to know, has technology had an effect on your business and, you know, running your business and entrepreneur life? Because it seemed like everything, you know, on social media seemed like it's all glitter and it's all gold, but people don't know the behind the scenes of what happens as far as being an entrepreneur. Can we relate? Right. So I'm just curious to know, how has technology affected your business, if it has at all, and if it has actually boosted your business, which is good too. Just tell us a little bit about that.
So just to talk about Spanx a little bit, I took a leap of faith and applied the last day that the contest was due, last April, to be a designer for Spanx. And I'm thinking, I'm a little colorful. I might be a little bit too much for Spanx. So in my mind, my sister's like, you need to apply. If I got to do it myself, I'm going to do it. So she gets on her computer, submits all of my designs. I'm thinking I never got a confirmation. I get a DM on Instagram from the director of Spanx and said, not only have you been chosen one of our top candidates to be a designer, and in 3 weeks, they'll be all over the world. And so it went from not having the faith to do it to being overqualified to now being equipped and now being to empower other people. And you get to be in bra and underwear that look like this. And so, you know, I'll cry in a minute. So technology, I have a career in IT. I still have a full-time job. I'm not there today. Don't tell them where I'm at. They may know now. But I still have a full-time job in IT, and so I had to learn to balance the two. And so every morning you may see me posting from 5 to 7 a.m. I'm in the car actually doing that on the way to work, encouraging people to know that you don't have to choose one thing that you're good at. You can do them all, and technology allows me to do that. And so you might think I might be in Africa or in Tahiti or somewhere. I'm actually scheduling posts out to show you where I've been and actually showing my story every day. So I'm curating a story through technology every day. And as technology changes, we can actually change with it, and it's a good thing. So Instagram can be your friend. You can build $1 million business and tell your story from the seat of your home. So you don't have to be a billionaire to have $1 billion brand. And so I was able to do that off like a $30 budget. And actually create an actual brand with technology. So technology has absolutely changed my entire life.
Nice. What about you, Pinky?
Yeah.
Well, everything we do is because of social media, you know. It's funny because we mentioned something about like marketing dollars and stuff like that. We've never paid $1 for any marketing, period. God is so good that I ain't got no marketing budget. So like if I gotta give a burger for free if somebody's unsatisfied, in my mind, that's my invisible marketing budget, right? Exactly. Because we've created something so attractive that people want it, that I don't have to, I've never paid a celebrity, I've never said here, I've never paid for followers, anything like that. It's just been organic. Every single week, the business grows at 38%. Wow. And yeah, when I say, listen y'all, even today, and a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, because I'm always transparent in entrepreneurship, I don't know what I'm doing, right? But not knowing what I'm doing means that obviously I'm doing everything right, right? Yeah. Because literally when it comes to the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, all it is the things that I think about. And then I put it on paper. And then I put it on Instagram, and then I put it on social media. But it's definitely been helpful because it has such a reach that not only do people in Atlanta know and love Slutty Vegan, there's people in Kenya and South Africa and London that say that they love Slutty Vegan, and can you bring Slutty Vegan to China? So that reach, we wouldn't have been able to do that without social media. And there's some advantages, and there are some disadvantages. For instance, one day, there was a day like a couple weeks ago that social media was down, right? So Facebook was down, Instagram was down. So every single day we post at 3 o'clock every day, and then we literally have a schedule on how we post, like you talked about. But because social media was down, there was nothing that we could do. So what that did for us is showed us that we can't fully rely on this one platform to really get the message out. So what are we going to do differently so that if today Facebook and Instagram and Twitter shuts down, we'll have an avenue where we can still reach the people, right? So that is just a part of like business and entrepreneurship. So what we do is, like every time that there's an issue, whether it's social media, we're able to find solutions, and that's the beauty of it. But nonetheless, social media has been the best free form of advertising that we could have ever had. And if you do have a business, utilize social media. Utilize your Instagram, your Facebook. Get on Christian Mingle, do whatever you got to do. But social media can make you a lot of money. I've been in business for 9 months, and I've already created a multi-million-dollar business with no marketing dollars, nothing else. I didn't have to pay a marketing company, and all of this is due to social media and God. Well, God and then social media. Okay.
We got you. Thank you so much, Pinky. Martine, what about you? How has social media played a part in you building your brand or working for, Estee Lauder or, the media company that you've worked for?
Yeah, I think social media is definitely at the heart of everything these days. I mean, you kind of have to be where your audience is, and they are on social media. I think you have to find the right platform for your audience, depending on who they are, and each platform has a slightly different audience, and it also has a slightly different way kind of you behave on those platforms. So Instagram is kind of pretty pictures and kind of very visual. Twitter is kind of more news-based. I'm not going to find my mom on Instagram. She's definitely on Facebook. And if anyone still Snapchats, I don't know, but that's definitely like a younger audience. I think we've picked our poison. I think trying to manage 7 different platforms and keep them up and keep them relevant and create custom content for each of them is really hard. So I think really kind of focus in on like who your audience is and where they are, and then build from there. We started on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook, and that's because I think over time those 2 platforms are now connected, and so if you do want to put ad dollars against a post, you're going to do it through Facebook, and then it's going to boost on both of the platforms, and you can do it really cheap. I just did the first one for us the other day. It was $80. It's kind of guaranteed number of views. And it was kind of fun to just watch it, and someone texted me, it's like, hey, I just got served your thing. I was like, oh, great, I guess it's working. Our Instagram right now, I am a frustrated graphic designer. I should have taken Photoshop in school and at some point in the last 20 years, and I didn't, and it bugs me every single day. But Canva is a platform that we use. And all our Instagram is really done through Canva, and kind of in my spare time between putting the kids to bed and washing the dishes or doing something else at home, because it's, one of the things that you have to do and should do, but business is so crazy all day. But it's been really fun to build a brand on Instagram and kind of see where that goes. And so I think for us, that's been like the main one. And I think we have like 1,600 followers, the Lola_women, and we could get a few more followers today, maybe.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martine. Jody, tell us how social media or technology, if it has affected the film world at all, because we have YouTube and all of that accessible to everyone. If it has been a great benefit for you, talk about that.
Yeah, I was actually gonna talk about the back end of technology for these ladies. So we kind of talked about the front end, the social media. Don't forget about your email list. Don't forget about constant contact. You were just talking about what happens, right, when social media goes down. How do you contact your customers? You have to make sure that you have a message that they want to hear. You don't over-message them, but you always have the latest way to get in contact with them, to let them know what you're doing, right? So that is also a vital part. It's not just the front end, it's the back end. It's managing your email contacts and your phone contacts and all that sort of stuff. And then what messages are you crafting? Because again, like you were asking me about YouTube and the various things, the content you'd make for YouTube for your business is gonna be very different than the content you're gonna make for Instagram for your business, which is gonna be different than the content you'd make for Facebook. And so because those audiences are different, their tolerances are different, those are the kind of things you have to think through, especially going back to the budgeting, because you may not have money to do everything. So you gotta pick what you wanna do, what messages you're trying to get across, who you're trying to reach, and what do you do best? Maybe you do the 15-second clip. Great. So are you on Twitter with that? Are you on Snapchat if your audience is there? Are you on Instagram? Those are the kind of things you have to think through when you're kind of putting your marketing plan together. But don't forget that back end, that database. It's not sexy, but it will help you make money because that's right where your people are gonna be. So, and just to answer your question really quickly, the social media, of course, has turned the film industry upside down, and television as well. Now people have to manage spoilers, right? You had to figure out, you couldn't hide the ending of Game of Thrones, right? You have to figure out how to do that, knowing it's getting out there and keeping people interested. So, and then just how you reach people, how soon you tell them about your project has totally changed with social media. Everything about the way you market your television shows completely changed. And it will change even further by the time most of you get your businesses off the ground in earnest. So stay on top of, right, what those trends are, and your potential customers, start following them, people you want for future customers. See what content they're into, what, not only the content type, but the formats of it, right? And that'll give you some idea of who you're trying to market to. I mean, what she's going to put together to market the Lola is gonna be totally different than what you're gonna put to market Slutty Vegan. It's totally different. So that's gonna be an essential part of your plan as well, how you use it.
Thank you for that answer. Now, I know throughout our conversations up here today, something that I heard a few of you mention was, specifically Pinky, you said, I don't know what I'm doing. How important is it to have a team? And if you don't have a budget, how do you build a team? Can you give us just, some wisdom based on, you sharing your experience with us?
A team is very important. So people laugh at me when I say this. I found my core team, I found on Instagram, literally. Like from my general manager to my store manager, and all of these people, minus my general manager, came in as burger toppers, right? Because I'm all about building within. But that team is the reason why I can get sleep at night. You know what I mean? And it's important to have those people that not just want to get paid, but they genuinely support you, and they genuinely have an intention to make sure that the business succeeds. Because I don't want you if you just want to check, right? Yeah. If you just want to get paid, like, bye, I can find somebody else. I want people that are really willing to get in the trenches, like, even when it looks good, like when all the cameras are there and we getting all the accolades, but when the controversy comes in, like, I need you to be there. So luckily for me, I have those people that are with me like day and night. Like when I'm crying, they sitting right there. Like when we getting praise, they're sitting right there. Even if it doesn't mean, like, forget the money, like they don't care about that. But having a team is so important, and making sure that you find the right people with good intentions is even more important, because a lot of times what can happen in business, especially, for example, I'll talk about myself. I move really fast in business, in like record time. In the 9 months, what we've done has happened so fast. So a lot of what comes with that is envy, jealousy, and that's just the truth, right? Yes. Yeah. So learning and knowing how to deal with it with the people around you, and making sure that you trust them and they are trusting and they have your best interest is also important. Will I find more people on Instagram? I don't know. However, the fact that I have people to really work with me and not for me, lets me know that I'm obviously doing something right because they're a reflection of me, and that this business is going to grow with people who have a genuine interest and intention to build and push the business forward.
What about you, Melissa? How important is it for you to have a team?
Well, when I started my company, it was in my mother's home. My father had passed away in 2010, and so when God gave me the vision to do this business, I said it's going to be a family business. And so I empowered everybody in my family to have a role in my company. So my mom is my CEO, my chief emotional officer. She keeps me together. And so she travels with me. I mean, even when I went to the Oscars, she in the back, go ahead, I'm proud of you. Daddy would be so proud of you. So just having that person there for me, because I am such an emotional person, that keeps me very grounded. And so my sister, she's in public relations, she said, well, she didn't have faith in her gift. And so when I brought her onto my team, I empowered her to help me with this brand. So now she owns whatever I do. She said, oh, we did that. And so you empower people on your team to let them know they're a part of your success. And so my other sister's over operations. I said, did you ship that head wrap? She said, oh, let me get on it. And so I'm empowering her. And we all have full-time jobs. And so I'm teaching everybody in my family that it's okay to have a 9 to 5. But when you get off, I need you to come by the house to help with this artwork. And so everybody in the family now understands that if I succeed, it's the Mitchell last name that succeeded. It's not just Melissa. And so in my father's absence, it's absolutely about legacy. And so my goal is that if anything ever happens to any one of us, they'll know that they're Mitchell, that they're connected to excellence. And so that's why I built my team from within. And so when I look across the room and see my sister, she's in a head wrap just like mine. And so I know our team is all in place.
Nice. Look at all. I like that. CEO.
Chief emotional. Listen, I'm looking for her now. She at work. I was like, I needed her today. Yeah.
Martine, how important is it for you to have a team to build out the Lola 5,000 square feet?
Yes.
We
don't have a team. Actually, there's 2 of us, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I kind of mentioned before that there really is the village of the Lola that has come up and kind of helped support us as we kind of get off the ground. But I will say I was very mindful about having a co-founder. I knew that being a mom of 2 young kids and coming out of corporate into this kind of startup life, I didn't want to be in it entirely on my own. And so I was very purposeful about finding someone to do that with me. And that's pretty hard because it has to be a lot of things in the universe kind of have to come together to bring that person to you. But I really do think the universe brought my co-founder Eileen to me, and we've been very mindful about our relationship, and we're very different. She had a background in consulting and then started a nonprofit 7 or 8 years ago called Venture for America, which recruits graduates out of college and gets them apprenticeshipped and into startups. So she had this really solid kind of startup background and this consulting background, and I came from more like brand building and like turning brands into money and e-commerce and retail, and it was just very different. And every day that kind of really helps us out because we get into our lanes, we know our areas, and we can kind of divide and conquer on stuff. So I'm forever grateful to have her in my corner as we build this together. But yes, I think as we grow, I mean, we're desperate for help, of course, but I think it will come with time. And even just like this week, my husband and my mother-in-law sat me down and said, hey, you look like you need some help. There's like a month till this thing's opened. My mom's in town for the next month. Like, we got you. And I came up like later and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I feel like a whole weight has been lifted off my shoulders. So even like as you said, like your family is your team and your net. And I'm so grateful to have a husband that kind of gets it and is supportive. He said to me once when I was super miserable in my last job, he said, it might not get better than this. Our kids are healthy, we're healthy, my folks are healthy, your folks are healthy. Life might never be better than this moment, and you're really miserable. So I need you to kind of go and do this or go figure out what this thing is. He goes, you can't quit without an idea, but go figure it out. And so, I think team comes in like different kind of ways for me.
Thank you so much. Jody, what about you?
Sorry to turn on my mic. I think to direct it to ladies out there, your team is going to be vital, and sometimes your team, as you start out, will be one other person, maybe 2 people, and one of them you can trust totally. Do you know what I mean? Just keeping it real.
We are being real today.
Yeah, we're keeping it real, very real. So, but that's not to discourage you from starting your business, because even that one person that you're not really 100% on, know what their skills and talents are that they bring to the table, and build that up. Not just use it, but build that up in them, because they may be the ones that turn in the end that do have you 100%, right? Because you took the time to work with them and recognize what they do really, really well and utilize that, and that always makes everybody feel great. You know, sometimes the team is yourself. There are gonna be nights where it's just you. And that's okay, and don't hold that resentment for people who can't be there for you 24 hours a day. Because your business, now that you're an entrepreneur, your business is 24 hours a day. And not everybody can match that, and that's okay, right? When they bring their best to you for 2 hours a day, take that and say thank you. You know, but, you know, and feel free to tell somebody, if you're not at your best today, don't come see me, because I can't use that. You know, and also don't be afraid to switch the roles of your team. If somebody is not working, but there are a lot of things about them you love and that they contribute to either your well-being or the well-being of your business, don't be afraid to switch their role, because they may not be working where you have them now, but you switch them and they come alive and they really start contributing to your business. So your team ebbs and flows, and don't get stuck, because you gotta stick and move from the moment you walk out this door and you say, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm starting my business. It's all about sticking and moving constantly.
Stick and move.
Stick and move.
Love it. All right, so this is going to be our last question, because I wanted to give a chance for our audience to be able to connect with the panelists here. But Melissa, tell us, what is the best platform for you to actually sell your products on? Give us, I mean, there's a few platforms out there, but what has worked for you?
I use Wix.com. You talking about for like platform for your website, or
Platforms for your website?
Okay.
Do you use Wix?
Yeah, I use Wix, and of course I use social media. I think Instagram for me has been the best platform as far as social media. But I think you choose a website if you're, because I sell artwork, but I like to have one-on-one experiences, so I don't use a website just to sell art. So I use my products there. But I also like to do a lot of pop-ups. A lot of people lose touch of doing one-on-one, face-to-face. And like I met somebody who's like, I'm finally getting to meet you in person. I was like, social media, we lose that. And so find a way to connect with your constituents as much as you can. I know as you see people all the time, but actually like meeting her, I was like, I love her. I was like, I want a sandwich or something, get me something, you know? And so when people get to see you and get to experience you, don't rely so much on social media that you forget to have human touch.
Yes.
So I sell stuff, but like I said, I didn't bring any stuff with me today. I want to just meet some folks, you know. And I think a lot of times we get lost in the art of making money and instead of making relationships. So use your Wix, use your Squarespace, use your Instagram, but also use who you are as a person and rely on your spirit to make genuine connections with your customers.
Pinky, what about you?
Same. Well, if anybody's ever been in my restaurant, oftentimes I use my office. That's my car office, so I sit beside the restaurant. and I'm in my office, and I'm on my computer, and I am sending emails, or I'm making phone calls, or doing interviews in my car right beside the people. And then I'll get out, and I'll talk to the people and take pictures. And I'll sometimes go in the restaurant and work, because the baby is so new. Products, we have pop-ups, just like she said. So we do a lot of pop-ups. We've done them in New York, New Orleans, Houston, everywhere we go. And just like she said, like those relationships are very important. I'm very tangible. I don't see, I block out all the noise, right? And I just come to work, put on my Slutty Vegan shirt, and I'm in my office, and I connect with people. And I think people really love that. So I would agree with what you said. People really love that connection.
Nice. Martine, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like Instagram is actually a really social platform, and a lot of people we found, like we had our logo through someone we found on Instagram, and it's quite chatty and kind of through the direct messages, so I like that as a way, but I agree, like the in-person. We've been doing events out of the newly refurbished Hotel Claremont for the last year, and we've done 90 events and had over 1,000 women come through with just the two of us, and we've met every single person in person, and it's been a really great way to kind of meet our community, meet the members, really understand what they want, what they need, and kind of see like what's working and what's not. And I think that in-person connection is so valuable. I think in years gone by, marketing was so kind of like hands-off, and you didn't know what was working or why it was working, and it was very kind of removed. And I think now people want that kind of personal connection and direct contact with brands. And so I think If it's an in-person event, great. If you can't, at least respond to people on social media, or if they comment, if they send you a message, reach out, say hi. Definitely try and make that human connection, because I think that's what we all want, right?
Thank you so much. Jody, what about you? What has worked for you in terms of technology or social media platforms?
Yeah, well, I'll answer it for the ladies out there because, again, right, I'm behind the scenes. So I'll answer it the way I tell my clients. The best one is the easiest one for you to use, period. It's the one that you're going to be the most engaged with. It's the one that's not going to drive you crazy trying to figure out how to do it at night, and you're happy using it. Because that way you're going to engage with people on a positive level, and you're going to continue to use it. So if that's Facebook for you, it's Facebook. And you're going to find somebody else who loves Instagram, and they're going to help you. They're either going to do it for you on Instagram, or they're going to teach you how to get great at Instagram. But start with the one that you will actually use and be really good at and comfortable with. That's the best one.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, pull your phones out, because this is all about branding and marketing. We want you to follow these ladies and connect with each one. Me, myself, although I am on V103, I am on Saturdays 6 to 10 a.m. I do Throwback Saturdays, which is classic hip-hop and R&B for all the people in my genre, in my age group. And I also come on right after Larry Tinsley on Sundays 12 to 3. My name is I Am Jaenash. I am also the creator of Girl Power Hour Radio, which we support women who are on this platform and every other woman that's in this room. Melissa, please give them your information so that they can reach out to you and follow you.
Okay, my website is really easy. It's melissamitchell.com. And my social media is ABL Creations, and it's ABEILLE Creations. And the reason people ask me what does ABL mean, it means honeybee in French, and Melissa means honeybee in Greek. So honeybee, so I'm one of the hardest working women you'll meet. So honeybee, obviously, is hardest working woman in industry.
I like that.
So yes, ABL Creations. But if you can't remember how to spell it, Melissa A. Mitchell has links to everything that I do. So you can find me there.
All right, Pinky, what about you?
I love that. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, anywhere you can find it, Google. Slutty Vegan ATL, SLUTTY Vegan ATL, sluttyveganatl.com. And my personal page is Pinky907. So if you ever need some inspiration in the entrepreneurship world, please feel free to follow me. So Slutty Vegan ATL and Pinky, Pinky 907.
All right, Martine?
Yeah, on Instagram you can follow us at the Lola_women. Facebook is the Lola Women, and also our website is the-lola.com. And if you sign up for our emails, a lot of information we send out comes through our MailChimp mail list.
Thank you so much. There go your followers, Martine.
Right?
Jody,
Thank
what
you.
about you?
Your turns, right? Oh. Okay, so sorry, I turned this off. So, yeah, I don't have any. Yeah, I was serious
You have a
about being
website?
deep behind the scenes. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, my email is jodysmith01@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Listen, Jody's not playing no games. All right, thank you so much for having us here. Thank you to Melissa Mitchell, Pinky Cole, Martine Resnick, and Jody Smith. You all give it up for our wonderful panelists.